Alright, hello everybody, my name is Solo, welcome to Solo's World, and today we are going to be talking about, well, quite a few things, including the Twab, a little bit more details and clarifying a thing I saw a lot of people hitting misconceptions with when it came to the launch trailer of the, of Lightfall, it was one of the things I kept seeing people say, which was weird, and also another few details that I did also hear about in other videos that kind of make me speculate. And then we're going to talk again about the Twab, because the Twab did come out alongside the State of Play launch trailer for Lightfall. Now, before I start, if I sound like I'm out of breath, it's because I have an issue right now. If I breathe in too deep, it kind of hurts. So I'm gonna get that looked at eventually. But yeah, just in case you're wondering if I'm rambling on and then I need to take a breath, that's why. Um. Anyway, let's talk about some of the details that people kind of got a little crossed when it comes to the launch trailer. So one of the big things in the launch trailer that a lot of people keep getting crossed is the beam that is between the Traveler and the Pyramid ships. Now, a lot of people kept saying, "Oh shit, they're hitting the Traveler," when in reality, this is actually the Traveler shooting a beam at the Pyramid ships. We can tell this because, well, the energy around the Traveler condenses and then it fires upon one of the ships, causing not only a bunch of damage, but also plants to grow on one of the Pyramid ships. And that was one of the bigger things I wanted to address. So that was more or less the Traveler fighting back and not the Pyramid ship or the Witness shooting that beam out. Now, let's talk about a detail I didn't notice, and this wasn't pointed out to me until I watched Bife's video about it. Bife pointed out the fact that the OG fire team in that trailer is dead. The original Titan, Warlock, and Hunter are all dead. And what I mean by this is there was a thing that I commented on in the trailer, and I didn't notice the other two parts about it. I just said, "Oh, look, debris." But if I had noticed a little bit more in detail, when they showed the ghost basically being segmented, the Titan also is being segmented, and then they show all three ships of the original fire team all segmented in the way that the ghost and the Titan were. So basically, what it's showing us there is that the Witness has the ability to basically rip things apart and section them in these weird kind of rift, kind of like the rift we see in the whatchamacallit, the Control Freak, I want to say is the name, the Control Freak thumbsticks or thumb pads, whatever you want to call them, that they came out with for Lightfall. It reminds me of those. And it also shows us just basically the power of the Witness when it comes to, yeah, Guardians, which is terrifying. Like, let me be clear, this is very terrifying to see. Because that means the Witness has the power to basically do that to most anything that it can get a hold of. So yeah, that was a big thing that I missed in the trailer. Here, let me go into my inventory real quick so then we can talk about the Twab. Now, the Twab did talk about the fact that they didn't talk about the rewards that they are changing for Nightfalls and Lost Sectors. And they clarified this. I don't really agree with how they're going with bonus loot. I'm not disagreeing with a power change because, again, a lot of people talk about how easy it is to kind of do everything now. But yeah, I don't agree with the reward system that they're putting in. To get like extra like ascendant shards or golf balls as people call them, or enhancement cores is kind of dumb. But yeah. Let's see, there's a rank up Guardian, which is about Guardian ranks. The Crucible beckons. Now, we do know later in the season there will be a bigger article on more details to playlist changes coming with Lightfall, and later adjustments to competitive progression and rewards, and changes on how matchmaking will work in the near future. Next week, competitive division freelance node is going away, as we believe Fireteam matchmaking is solving the problem it was originally intended to solve in a much healthier way. This will merge player populations into one larger, healthier pool while still protecting smaller fire teams. So they go through a bunch of changes for season 20 with placement changes, maps, mode, and weighting. So they're talking about how Rift and Showdown are kind of getting adjusted. And then they increase the weight of some of the maps. And then gilding, of course, of the new title, which if you guys haven't seen the new title, where is it? It is this. It's called Glorious, which is you have to play different game types. Each unique game type increments progress. You have to do all 7 of your placement matches. You have to complete a promotion series and get promoted to a higher division. You have to complete matches in competitive 3v3. You have to achieve platinum division, and then you have to earn points by completing objectives in competitive 3v3. I don't play PvP really, so I don't particularly care. We're getting what's known as the not swap modifier, which is basically all ability energy is removed when you change exotic armor during a match. And then they're also going to be monitoring this, and they're not planning to add it to PvE modes. Embrace the passive artifact. Artifact mods are now artifact perks. These passive perks, you don't have to slot them into armor pieces, and once you unlock a perk, it automatically applies to your Guardian. There are 12 perks unlockable per character. You can reset the artifact at no cost any number of times. Anti-champion weapons featured on the artifact can also be overcharged in higher difficulties. To accommodate these changes, Artifice Armor now has a unique mod slot that guarantees 3 additional points to a character stat of your choice. Now, this is an interesting one, because Artifice Armor, if you guys have never seen Artifice Armor, so this, right, is, I believe, what they're talking about when they say Artifice Armor, if it wants to load. Yeah, and then so they're saying there will be a mod slot that just lets you pick what exactly, like, what number in a gear stat you want to go with. I know my stats are kind of buns right now, but that's because I don't have anything set up, because, again, I've been away the whole most of the season. So I'm wondering what the yeah, what these perks are, right? Because there's a lot of columns. I'm not gonna go through all the columns, but there are five columns like normal. There's a bunch of different things, and yeah, it's interesting. New ways to counter champions. You can use an exotic with an anti-champion intrinsic perk. My favorite, of course, is Malfeasance. Ariana's Vow, Divinity, Leviathan's Breath. You can use weapons that have an anti-champion artifact perk. And you can use the following subclass verb and status effects. So Barrier Champions is going to be Radiant, Volatile rounds, and Unraveling rounds, which are going to be in Strand. Then Overload is going to be Jolt, Suppression, and Slow, which is interesting. Unstoppable is Ignite, Blind, Shatter, and Suspend. The verbs work no matter how they are triggered. To example, if you are radiant because of a solar hunter using acrobatic dodge near you, you will shoot anti-barrier rounds until radiant wears off. If you use a weapon with chill clip perk, slow direct hits will stun overload champions, and shatter upon the second hit will stun unstoppables. While Radiant, though, the same weapons would pierce barrier champions but not stun overloads. Figures because Shatter is unstoppable and it's not a thing with Radiant. Exotics with an anti-champion status effect won't get the pierce effect when applying Radiant. An example, Aegir Scepter will slow and stun an overload champion but not pierce a barrier one even if the player is radiant. There's an exception for weapons available to Scorch, since ignitions require build up in order to stun. Okay, so that's interesting. Become Legend. Whether you're a solo player or in a full fire team, there's no wrong way to play the Lightfall legendary camp or the Lightfall campaign. We all know you love the legendary difficulty that debuted with the Witch Queen, so we wanted to talk a bit how Lightfall will work with the goal of balancing challenge and survivability across all fire teams. Legendary difficulty scales based on the size of your fire team. Incoming damage required to stagger an enemy health, amount of revives are a few things that scale on legendary for each additional member of your fire team. In the campaign, Lightfall campaign, we reduced the health scaler on combatants to better balance solo and fire team play when compared to last year's legendary campaign. Now, the interesting part about this is very true for Witch Queen's campaign. That was one of the biggest pains in my ass because I would do it solo and I'd absolutely I think my biggest issue was when I had to go up against the Scorn Archer, and he just rolled me over and over and over again. Enemies will have more overall health in larger fire teams, and Cabal in general have higher base health and other combatant factions. But this will help bring solo and fire team difficulty closer together. Additionally, the damage required to stun combatants is reduced during the Lightfall campaign. Make no mistake, the Shadow Legion and their new technology are extremely formidable foes, and we're not even going to talk about the Tormentors. We don't talk about the Tormentors. So eyes up, Guardian, because it won't be easy. An interesting thing that they announced is that the Witch Queen Standard Edition will be available for free for 3 days, which will be starting on February 23rd, so today. the day I'm recording this. It's 24th when this will go up. And then it'll end on Xbox at February 26th at midnight PST. And then PlayStation, Steam, Microsoft Store, Epic Games Store on February 27th, 9 a.m. PST. And that's interesting. So Xbox ends basically a day early. And then PlayStation, Steam, and everything else ends basically when downtime begins. Prime Gaming Rewards reminder. So if you haven't picked those up, go get them. There's going to be 24-hour downtime for Lightfall. There's also preload requirements. Now, I'm not exactly sure when exactly preload's going to start for this as a whole, because the thing about it is they didn't really say when preload's going to be available. I'm guessing it's going to be available sometime during the 24-hour downtime, so then people have time to download the update before the entire DLC comes out. Which is funny, because if you go and look at how much space is needed, it's actually quite a bit. So that's interesting. But another interesting fact, like I said, was that they're talking about PvP again. And we gotta confirm that there's a bigger blog post. And the funniest thing is, like, people are now replying, like, with memes about Gambit players. And I'm like, it kind of sucks that Gambit's been shelved. But also, like, I have a feeling that they are either A, going to take out Gambit entirely and try to make a new mode, or they're going to just entirely rebuild Gambit from the ground up eventually. It may not be this season or next, or, you know, even in Lightfall. It might not even be until after the Light and Darkness saga concludes. Because I feel like they want Gambit to also be a part of the story a little bit for a while, especially with Gambit Prime. And then the story of the Nine, which, by the way, have been kind of missing since... Yeah, since a few seasons ago. I think the last time we saw the Nine was literally the 30th anniversary. And just to give you guys a little bit of a look-see at how I'm doing. So, the only ones I think I'm going to have a hard time with, I'm not going to have a hard time with Frame Reboot. That's going to be easy. Death Tongue Choristers are probably going to be a problem. Nodes Found is not going to be a problem because I already have another one for the Seraph Station, and then all I need is 2 more, which is one for Europa and the other one for the Seraph Station. And again, I think I already have enough to basically finish that one. But I think my biggest thing is probably finishing the season track and getting all the upgrades, because it requires me to play Heist Battlegrounds a total of, what, like 35 times? And I've only done it 10 times, so... No, I don't have to loot chests, which is convenient, because that was one of the biggest things I hated about Season of the Haunted, was one of the triumphs. Let me see if I can find it. One of the triumphs for Season of the Haunted was just ridiculous. It was like, oh, you had to, like, bind the thing. Let's see, opulent chests. Let me see if I can find it. Bound in Sorrow, Crown of Sorrow. Here it is. Bind nightmares after completing Tier 3 nightmare containment activities. So you had to do Tier 3s and then bind the, like, fragments, which, by the way, I've gotten out of my inventory. I've gotten basically every seasonal currency except for, like, Umbral Energy out of my inventory, because I know it's all just going to get reset anyway. But that was probably the biggest pain. I hated doing that because it meant I had to basically play, like, it wasn't like, oh, play 50 rounds of it. No, it was play 50 times 3 rounds, or pray that I got loaded into a place that was already at tier 3 when it came to the nightmare containment. So yeah, I'm glad that it's just, hey, play Battlegrounds, but it's going to take me a second, as well as the Vanguard achievement is going to take me a second. I think the Coursters are going to be a little bit of a pain because, well, they're already a bit of a pain. And what I mean by this is you have to basically get rid of a chorister before it has a chance to start singing, or else you don't get progress for that achievement, and that means you have to be really fast about it and do a lot of damage, which that means I'm probably gonna switch to my Sunbreaker, just due to the fact that I think it's going to be better in general. For all that. Which, by the way, I need to put all my actual, like, armor on. There we go. That's why I was taking so much damage. I was taking a lot of damage earlier when I was doing heists, so hopefully with this, I won't be having as much issues. And I know I'm saying, a lot. That's just my way of getting back on track. And I'm sorry about that. But anyway, I think I'm going to end this video here. If you guys did enjoy, hit the like button. Comment down below what is your favorite part about the launch trailer. Honestly, I think my favorite part, but also the scariest part, is seeing things get segmented. Just willy-nilly out of nowhere. That was pretty cool. Well, yeah, let me know in the comments, and if I like your comment enough, I'll hit the heart button, and you'll be able to see that on your side. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe, turn on post notifications so you never miss a video, because of course we're going to be uploading Lightfall Campaign as soon as it goes live and we're able to play the campaign. But anyway, guys, that's it from me. I've been Solo, and I'll see you Guardians next time. Bye-bye.